Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland, and in this video of viewer suggested Headrush rigs, I've already messed up. Anyway, it is the way it is. Last week we worked on dirty high gain tones, and this week I want to concentrate on mostly clean tones and which amplifiers can give you the best clean tone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tune here, because we all know how well the Headrush tuner works. And this may be a fairly short stream tonight. I do have a recording session here at 9 o'clock. And I just got done teaching a bass lesson here from 7:30 to 8. So I'm doing a lot tonight. But so here's last week's set list. So we're going to get out of this, go to all rigs, and we're going to go new rig. And what I think of when I think of clean tones is something, you know, not necessarily squeaky clean, but something with a little bit of edge or breakup going on. So we're going to start off with a J45. Let's do a Marshall style, and I am going to use a custom IR. Let's go with the creamback on this one, and you can see my settings here. We got a -12, high cut around 12K, and then low cut around 90. And let's see if we can get this a little bit closer. There we go. All right. So what we want to listen for, first of all, when we put in a cab or an amplifier, is we want to see where our starting point is, and then we can either go down from there or we can go up from there, depending on how much gain we have. But this is going to be, there we go. So here's our clean tone with the normal and the high volume set at 50. Alright, I am using the FRFR 108 speaker. Alright, so that's fairly dirty to my ears. Let's bring it down to 20% and see what we got now. Alright, not bad. So I'm going for overall tonality, and then we can always either raise or lower the level of the master output depending on the overall tone. Alright, that sounds really good. So now what we want to do is set the rig output accordingly. Okay, and we have a pretty good healthy level here. If I dig in, it's just getting 3 bars below 0, so I can probably stand to bring the rig volume up a little bit. Because you kind of want your medium, touch on the strings to be somewhat loud. So that way when you really dig in, it's going to really compress more than anything. Alright, let me put it on the middle pickup. Alright, see, it's kind of starting to get into the yellow right there, but that's fine because for the most part it stays 3 bars below 0 in the green there. Okay? So we're going to call this our Marshall Clean Viewer Suggested Headrush Rigs. I may shorten that later, but for now that's what it is. So let me check the comments here, see if we got anybody chiming in. What's up, Greg? Let me know if you have any questions about clean tones tonight. I have a short list here, but we're going to try and plow through. Alright, now, what's silly, not really silly, but This creamback has a lot more mid-range than, let's say, the Dock IR, which is an M160 on the cap edge, 2 inches away. So this has a little less mid-range. So if you want a sparkly kind of clean, then maybe that is the right IR for you. All right, we're gonna cut some mids here, raise some treble. All right, cool. Next thing I like to do is add in some kind of compression. Let's do a dot gray comp. And that has too much squish to it. All right, I'm not liking that one. Let's take it out and let's put in the Dyn comp. Because really what I'm looking for, or what I'm listening for, is just a little bit of squish, but I want to try to retain the dynamics as much as I can. So I don't have the attack up very low. I have it kind of high. I have the threshold a little high. The ratio is kind of eased up. And then there's no knee at all. That means it's not compressing as fast. All right, so we're just really controlling everything. Here it is without. Here it is with. Okay, so you're allowed to dig in a little bit more, and then the compressor is going to just kind of keep everything in check. So let's do a little bit of reverb here. And this will be our bass, our core sound. What do I like to do? Not really sure. Let's do a studio. And let's turn the tails on, mix down, roll the tone down. All right, cool. That actually sounds really good. Just a little bit of ambience there, nothing too crazy. Now, this is where it really depends on which era you want to be in. If you want a 80s kind of clean tone, you may want to have a chorus in there, okay? So we can add some kind of chord, or a flange, or a rotary, or vibrato, or something. We're just going to do a basic chorus, mono light. Nothing too crazy. We turn the depth down. Maybe the rate low. Okay, so that's a good starting point. I usually like to have my chorus and tremolo after the amp, but my phase, flange, and rotary and vibe before my dirt. So that's why I put the chorus after my amplifier. I'm gonna raise the rate just a little bit here. All right, cool. So this is gonna be the basis for our clean tone. Let's go ahead and let's add a delay. We'll do a Dyn delay. And we're going to do a default mono, which means we're going to not have any ducking going on. We're just going to have a straight digital delay, tails on. You can mess with the high cut you can roll that down, make it nice and dark. You can mess with the low cut like that. And so on. We do have, okay. Let's do 3/8. Tap in my tempo. All right. Let's do 3/16, which is your dotted eighth note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me know if it's loud enough. I think it's loud enough, but it could be a little bit louder maybe. Who knows? All right. So there's a Marshall clean. Now let's switch out the amp. And we're going to say save new. We're going to do Fend clean viewer suggested headrush rig. I always do that. Spacebar. Okay. So now we're going to go in and we're going to change the model. Let's do something small now. Let's go with a let's do a black mini and see what happens. So let me see what this says. I may not want to. Yes. Okay. All right, so Black Mini doesn't have a lot of headroom to it. So if I crank it up, right, it's pretty loud. So we're going to keep it nice and low. And we got vibrato on here, which is cool. So what we can do is go to our hardware sign, maybe take the amp out and put the vibrato in its place. So now we can have vibrato on. We can turn up the speed. Let's turn the chorus off. Okay, it's pretty cool, right? All right, I really like that sound, but let's experiment and see what happens if we turn it up a little bit more. All right, let's turn our delay off. So what I want to find is a good sweet spot where it kind of gets a little crunchy but still stays clean. All right, now we're going to do check our output. All right, so we can stand to go down a little bit on the rig volume. All right, cool. That's still fine. I'm fine with that. So let me go to hardware sign, take out the IR, bring down the delay. We'll take out the compression because we don't need that in there all the time. All right, so now we got a vibrato. Sounds glorious. We got a chorus. And we have our delay. What's up, Rickmas? Your rigs are on the cloud, and they're also on my website as well. So go on there, look for the viewer suggested Headrush rigs number 20, and that's where you'll find your rigs, okay? All right, cool. This is fun. Let's turn down the feedback a little bit here. All right, so that was a somewhat, you know, a small amplifier. Let's do another one. Fender Big viewer suggested Headrush rig. Something like that. And we'll switch out the amp again. This time, let's do a Super Reverb. That's a pretty classic amplifier right there, if I do say so myself. Let's see if there's a vibrato. And there is. So see, we got the vibrato speed and intensity on here, which is cool. Okay, I'm getting some nice bass response here. So let me bring up the low cut a little bit. Alright, that's fine. And anything else I need to work on, I can do straight from the amp. So let's take the bass down here. Nope, doesn't have a drop tune. Not yet, anyway. The thing with drop tune, it needs to be polyphonic. And right now, we really only have monophonic style octave on the Headrush. You do have a whammy pedal, but that doesn't really always sound great with big chords. It only sounds good with like single note lines. So it really needs to have a polyphonic style octave generator, like a POG, like the Electro Harmonics POG. So what I just did there, I heard too much bass in the overall sound, so I brought down the bass on the amp, which is what you would do in a real life situation. If you had a Super Reverb here in front of you, you would just go and turn the knob on the amp. Don't worry about global EQs and global this and impulse responses and whatever else. Just go to the amp, turn it down, okay? Now, this could be a little bit brighter, so let's turn the bright switch on. And that sounds nice. I am going to bring the treble down now because of that. Just a little bit. Let me check the comment here. Dire Straits, Lady Rider, woo! Dude, somebody was talking about Dire Straits earlier this week, and it really all goes back to his playing style and his ability to manipulate the instrument. You really just need a strat on that second or fourth position, and you got a nice, you just have a nice clean tone, you know, and just spank it up. That's really all it comes down to. I need to listen to that song anyway. I know here coming up I'm going to do a Steve Lukather Toto style rig. So I may just start, like every week, I might just choose one band and just do multiple different sounds from that band. Like, you know, Toto or like Dire Straits or anything like that. Instead of just doing like random songs here and there. it might help consolidate my time and just, you know, being able to hone in on a certain tone for that week. I can find a good Spotify playlist and just be listening over and over and over and really getting the sounds in my head. So so that might be better. So if you have certain bands that you want to hear, you can comment on this video. You can send me a private message on Facebook or on Instagram or something, and I'll just start compiling a list of different bands that we need to be making rigs for. So that'd be good. Especially if you're in a cover band and you do a lot of like Pink Floyd, or you do a lot of, you know, name the group, and it might be helpful for you guys as well to do something like that. All right, that's a nice clean tone right there. I'm going to save it. I'm going to do new rig. Let's do a MS30 clean viewer suggested Headrush rig. Bam. So there's our other rigs we've made. We got a Marshall, a Fender clean, a Fender big, then an MS30. All right, so we're going to go in, change our amplifier. All right, there we go. So I like the idea of having one impulse response that you use like all the time, because your ears get used to the sound, and then everything that you run through that one sound is going to, you know, you're going to really know and learn the dynamics of how it responds to different amps and stuff. So all right, so this amp is kind of based on a Vox. So what you're going to get is a volume and a master volume, and you're also going to get a treble and a bass, but you're also going to get a cut. Okay, so that cut's going to really it can either brighten up the tone or it can darken up the tone. Okay, so we're going to find that sweet spot here to where maybe bring up some bass a little bit. All right, let's drive the input just a little bit here. See what happens. Okay, if we like that tone, we can go to our rig output. We can bring down the volume. Let's bring it down even more. Download more amps. No, the amps that are on here are on there until they come out with another update, okay? Now listen, I want you to understand there are no stupid questions. So if you have a question, just ask and we'll address it as it needs to be, okay? Maybe you're new to Headrush or just, Helix or Kemper, just digital effect, modeling amps in general. So I want you to know that, yes, there are more things available, but they come in the form of updates. And whenever a new update comes, then that's when you'll get more amps and effects and different features and whatnot. But as of right now, if you have a brand new unit and you have not upgraded to the 2.0 firmware update, then you need to at least get to that point. Because that is going to add a few different Fender amps and a few, I think a bass amp, another Mesa Boogie style amp, a few Mesa Boogie amps, and it added a few more effects as well in this latest update. So you need to go check that out. Woo! So that sounds nice. Okay, let's put on some delay here. Okay, that sounds good to me. Let's kind of mess with the cut here. I'm using my Sensei tonight, which has some pretty stout humming pickups. So if you use a Strat or something, you may need to adjust the gain levels on these amps a little bit. But overall, they should still be fairly clean. So, so there's the MS-30. So that has a different characteristic in the mid-range than the Fender amps do. Let's do another one. Let's do a Bogner viewer suggested Headrush rig. So CL's for clean. So we're going to go in and we're going to choose the Bogner green channel, which is the cleanest channel. And the blue is like your crunch and the red is like your lead. All right. So we have the gain, presence, volume, treble, mid, bass, bright, and boost. So let's see where we're at now. Okay, so right off the bat, we have a nice, good, healthy, clean signal. Bogner's going to have a lot of mid-range to it. So that compressor is really helping everything stay nice and tight. That's way too, if I really dig into the strings, I can really overload that output. But that compressor is keeping everything nice and tight. So here is some chorus. Sounds nice, right? And here's some delay. Okay, let's mess with the mix on that. All right, cool. Let's do a Sodano. Slow, clean, viewer suggested Headrush rig. Bam. So it's very easy to get clean tones on here, contrary to popular opinion. I'm just kidding. All right, super bright. So we got to bring down, we're going to bring down that presence. Let's bring that all the way down. We are super bright here because the bright is on. Let's turn it off. Bring that back up. All right, good. There's a nice even tone. All right, let's see what happens if we bring down the preamp just a little bit. Bring up the master. So that's nice and squeaky right there. We can bring back up the rig volume. Cool. That is good stuff. What are we missing here? Let's do a Vox. If I can type Vox clean, viewer suggested Headrush rig. Man, I can't type. I keep missing the space bar. It happens. It happens more than you know. All right, AC. We have two different options here. We can do an AC boost or a boost mod. Let's just do a boost for now. Fuzz tone. No, we're only doing clean tones tonight. Sorry. Now, if you want a fuzz tone, just add a big muff in front here, and you got it. You got it, man. All right, so we're gonna. That sounds super nice. Amp tremolo. I went to the hardware assign and did that, so. Ooh, hello. Let's darken it up a little bit. Then bring the treble back in. Maybe put it on 5. Let's do something different with this reverb here. Let's go with a where am I looking at? Let's do a cathedral. Nice. Then if we add the delay in there, I used to have a JVT guitar. It was really cool. I have some ambient rigs on the cloud. And if you go through some other Headrush rig videos, you'll see some ambient stuff in there. But there's really nothing. Let me do one real fast, okay? And then I'll end it with this. So ambient. Sweetness, man, I can't type. NESS. All right, so we'll put the amp over here because we're about to add a bunch of stuff. So let's take this and let's crank up the decay, and we'll add. Gotta have a shimmer in there. Turn the mix down. Right, that's pretty cool. Let's make the delay feedback. It's really not rocket science to do an ambient patch. Just kind of make everything a little bit more over the top. Well, the Bogner has 3 different channels in there. So you got the green, which is the cleanest, the blue, which is more crunch, and then you have the red, which is the highest gain. So even the Sodano has a nice clean sound. You just have to choose that certain amp model, right? So another thing I like to do, what's up, David? is I like to have Smart Harmony. And we're going to go in and do octaves. Okay. We can even do like a fifth or something, but so here's our mix. And voice 2, we're going to have down quite a bit because that's our fifth. We're going to detune it just slightly. And then we're going to actually delay it. So we're going to have the sync on. We're going to delay these by 1/4 and 1/2. So check this out. Right now, I'm going to go in and add an auto swell. So I'm going to put on the fast, but turn the attack all the way up. And now we're going to get this cool swell effect. All right, there you go. So this impulse response is the M160 cap edge. You can get this for free in the files section of the Headrush Pedalboard website or a Facebook group that we all are part of, I'm sure. But I will include the IR in the downloads for this week, so that way you don't have to go searching for it. You can just go find it. But that one has a nice neutral sound to it. Doesn't over accentuate the mid range or anything. It just has a nice smooth sound. So I like using that one most of the time if I am using impulse responses. All right, there you go, guys. I have got to start a session here. But if you have any questions, feel free to, like I said, leave a comment down below or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram at Dr. McFarland or Dr. McFarland Studios. And I do have a mailing list that you can sign up for. And when you do, you will get a PDF file from me with my top 8 tone tips that I use every day to create awesome tones with all kinds of different gear. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will